What's going on, guys? What's happening YouTube? You guys have tuned into Rules for Rebels, and today we're going to be talking about Amazon selling, kind of a trend that we're seeing on Amazon of a lot of brands bucking Amazon and deciding not to sell their products on Amazon. And this article today comes from Engadget. It's titled "Nike Will No Longer Be Selling Its Shoes and Apparel on Amazon." And this is kind of a trend that we're seeing with a lot of brands. A lot of brands want to have a more personal relationship with their customers. They don't want to be reliant on Amazon and their stupid policies. And a lot of brands don't want their products sold on Amazon, period, because there's so many knockoffs and counterfeits that it kind of gives their brand a bad reputation if you're buying a counterfeit. Another brand who recently got off of Amazon and is going exclusively Shopify is Beardo. This is my Beardo hat. My girlfriend actually got me into Beardo. I actually love this hat. I actually purchased this hat with Bitcoin, and that was one of the only reasons that I bought this. My girlfriend's always like, "Oh, will you buy me this? Will you buy me this?" And this a couple of years, probably back in like 2017. But I said, you know what? I noticed that they accepted Bitcoin, and I told her, I said, if you figure out how to pay for this with Bitcoin, I'll send you the Bitcoin to buy it. So we bought two hats, one for me, one for her. It was kind of funny. I was actually their first ever Bitcoin customer. So we placed the order, 2 or 3 weeks went by and nothing showed up. And she contacted him, was like, "What the fuck, guys? Like, I heard it like 3 weeks ago." And they were like, "Oh my gosh," they were like, "You're our first Bitcoin customer." They didn't even know they got the payment. They didn't really know. I don't mean to say this to make them look bad. They were actually very cool in resolving the situation. And I've since talked to them. And Beardo will actually do private label hats. So back in like 2018, I'd actually looked into rolling out like my own little series of either Rules for Rebels or another brand that I have hats. And I never really got around to getting the pricing or getting that set up. But that might be something I do in the future. But I love this brand, kind of a cool brand. Anyhow, Beardo, I heard about it on Reddit or somewhere like that. But also, if any of you guys are Shopify users, which I imagine most of you are, you may have gotten, I think Shopify actually sent out like an email. You know how Shopify always does these case studies and articles and brand features? I think Shopify sent out an email today or yesterday talking about why Beardo got off Amazon and is going exclusively Shopify. Now, let's get into the story, kind of how I'm going to do these article videos moving forward. I know it's kind of fucking boring listening to somebody read an article. So I kind of wanted to, at the beginning of these videos, offer a little bit of a synopsis of the story, some of my thoughts on it, and then we'll get into actually reading the story and kind of talk about it and comment on it. But for anybody who doesn't want to stick along for a super long video, I'll give you kind of the synopsis. So back in 2017, Nike had kind of started a pilot program with Amazon where Nike sold its shoes and apparel to Amazon, and then Amazon sold the stuff on their platform. This is something that Amazon's putting a big push towards. I've talked about this a number of times before. Amazon has a movement or a platform called, what is it called? One Brand or something like that. And basically, Amazon doesn't want you and me selling our own brands on Amazon. They want us to sell our stuff to Amazon, and then they think that they want to be able to set the retail price. They want to have more control over how it's displayed on their site. And right now, it's kind of more large brands that are doing this. PopSocket is one that Amazon kind of tried to force into this, and they kind of got into a dispute. I had a video about that probably about a year ago. Probably actually almost exactly a year ago. And so that's kind of the plan. That's kind of what Amazon wants to do. I'm sure eventually that will trickle down to smaller sellers, but right now they're focusing on the bigger brands. And PopSocket and Amazon actually got into a big dispute. I believe there was a good article on Rewire or something like that about it. I'll try to find a video and drop a card above if I remember, and also in the description below. But basically, PopSocket was selling their own PopSockets on Amazon. And we're not talking about Amazon merch. We're talking about PopSockets themselves selling their PopSockets on Amazon. At some point, Amazon tried to force PopSockets, like, look, you can't sell your own products on our platform. You have to sell the products to us or a third party, and then we can sell it or somebody else can sell it. So PopSocket was like, okay, well, fuck you guys, So PopSocket found a third-party company who they decided to make like an authorized retailer or distributor of them, and then this third-party website was selling on Amazon until Amazon shut them down. So Amazon was really trying to force PopSocket's hand, and that if you want your product sold on Amazon, which Amazon's an awesome platform for it, right? Free 2-day shipping, phone accessories, gadgets like that sell really well on Amazon. You have to sell it to us, and they got in a big fight. I forget what the resolution to that was. But I think this is another example of that, where Amazon's like, yeah, we don't want Nike selling directly to consumers on our platform. We want to buy it. We want to determine the price and we want to resell it. So they did this pilot program back in 2017. Nike has decided to end it. And here's kind of an interesting trend that we're seeing with Amazon, but e-commerce as a whole. We're seeing, because I've been to IRCE, Digital Summit, LPX Chicago, the Clavio conference, and it's kind of funny how you see different brands going different ways. So you see a lot of like seminars and discussions and speakers talking about you need to get your brand on Amazon. And it's to some extent it's true. Over 63% of households have Amazon Prime. Almost everybody shops on Amazon. So it's kind of like if you don't want to get left in the dust, you kind of got to be a part of Amazon. But then you have a lot of other brands who try doing Amazon. They're like, look, I don't want to be reliant on a third party. I don't want to pay all these fees. I don't want to deal with all the Amazon bullshit. Like, I'm going to get off here and sell directly. And that brings me to another point. Like, a big push that Nike is doing is experiential retail. This is kind of another interesting topic that we've seen popping up at a lot of these like e-commerce conferences. You probably hear about like all the big box stores and brick and mortar stores closing down and everything's moving to e-commerce. And a lot of people don't know this, but in reality, like, yeah, the big box stores and department stores are shutting down, but one segment of retail that's actually not only not shutting down and hurting, but actually growing faster than ever is what they call experiential retail. And I actually sat in on a really good discussion at IRCE Chicago. Highly recommend you guys checking it out. There's like over 1,000, 2,000 vendors like Shopify app developers, web design companies, content writers, like everything under the sun. And it's IRCE, which is internet retail. So that's e-commerce. But then there's also kind of like a retail conference that's been merged in with it. And they have seminars on retail and then also seminars on e-commerce. And I actually have a couple clients who have brick and mortar stores as well as e-commerce stores. So that was just like a gem sitting in on both of these. There was some company, a sunglass company, I forget the name of the company, but one of the founders of it gave a speech and kind of talked about experiential retail. And basically what we're talking about here is like if you walk into Target or Walmart, there's really nothing that I'm going to experience in a Target or Walmart that's going to be any difference or give me any better insights to products than I would be just buying it off of Amazon, right? Like I'm not getting anything by going to the brick and mortar store. However, with other businesses, having the retail experience, being experiential retail, having an actual experience in the store, that goes leaps and bounds above buying something off Amazon or any website. And so something that Nike's doing in a lot of their Nike stores, they're actually bringing in like street artists and designers into the stores. And you can go into a Nike store and like customize footwear, customize apparel. I think in some cases the artist will even do custom art for you on shoes and things like that. And so that's one thing that Nike's doing. And Nike's putting a big push into their own website as well. Even though it's not brick and mortar, Nike's website is very experiential retail as well. I believe they have like features where you can customize products, and that's just not something that you're going to get on Amazon. So, Nike's kind of making a push off of Amazon, closer, tighter relationship with their customer, a better experience, whether it be in retail stores or online. So I guess another example of experiential retail, and I'm getting off on a little bit of a tangent here, but IKEA is another example of experiential retail. You can actually see rooms assembled. You can actually touch the fabric and the couches and the cabinets and everything else, something that you can't do online. They also got like the food restaurant in there. You can get fucking ice cream, hot dog, whatever else. So it's a whole experience, right? Anyhow, without further ado, that's kind of what's going on here. What I just kind of perused this article, so if I forget whether Nike, I think Nike is already gated on Amazon. Apparently, Amazon is working to develop relationships with third-party sellers. I'm guessing like authorized sellers of Nike, who they'll actually be the ones selling on Amazon instead of Nike themselves. So I don't think Nike as a brand is going off of Amazon, but Nike themselves is no longer really going to be as involved with Amazon. So, and again, if I can find the email about the Beardo thing, I'll try to include that as well. But we're starting to see more and more brands go off of Amazon. If you're aware of any others or have any anecdotes to share anything else, go ahead and drop them down in the comments section below. Again, this article comes from Engadget. I'll link to it below. Nike will no longer sell its shoes and apparel on Amazon. Nike is moving toward a more direct and personal retail experience. Nike will stop selling its sneakers and clothing on Amazon, ending a pilot program that started in 2017, the company said. The move comes as part of Nike's overhaul of its marketing and retail strategy and hiring of former eBay executive John Donohue as its next CEO. As part of Nike's focus on elevating consumer experiences through a more direct, personal relationship, we have made the decision to stop the pilot program with Amazon Retail, Nike said in a statement to Bloomberg. During the pilot program, Amazon purchased sneakers and apparel directly through Nike rather than buying them via third parties. The aim was reportedly to ease concerns among other companies that third-party resellers were selling their brands with fake merchandise. And this actually just reminded me of something. I remember Birkenstock was one of the first companies, like 2-3 years ago, maybe even more longer than that, who was like, you know what, fuck Amazon. There's too many counterfeits being sold. This is like, if somebody gets a shitty Birkenstock counterfeit and they don't know it's a counterfeit, they're going to think less of the Birkenstock brand. So I believe Birkenstock said, not only are we not going to sell on Amazon anymore, but Amazon, we don't want you allowing third parties to sell Birkenstocks on the platform either. So Birkenstock was one of the first companies kind of leading the pack to do this years ago. But again, it says the aim was to reportedly ease concerns among other companies about third-party resellers that were selling their brands with fake merchandise. Amazon has allegedly been developing a registry of vetted vendors, and Nike would make a big splash as the first approved brand. Nike supposedly thought that partnering with Amazon would give it more control over third-party sellers and counterfeit goods. However, as many companies have found on Amazon, eradicating third-party sellers is a game of whack-a-mole, with a new vendor popping up for each one that's removed. As part of Nike's focus on elevating consumer experiences through a more direct personal relationship, we have made the decision to complete our pilot with Amazon Retail. We will continue to invest in strong, distinctive partnerships for Nike with other retailers and platforms to seamlessly serve our customers globally. Amazon has supposedly been preparing for the break, according to Bloomberg, by developing a network of third-party sellers so you can still buy Nike shoes on the site. At the same time, Nike will continue to use Amazon's AWS services. I'm guessing that's for their website. Nike has significantly expanded into direct online, tripling sales in that area since 2013. However, retail still makes up 60% of its business, and the company has tried to make a more holistic and tech-friendly with the SNKRS app, collection points, vending machines, and more. By hiring a former eBay CEO, however, it could push even further into online sales. I'm surprised that I'm sure this CEO at eBay probably has a wealth of experience, but eBay isn't really an example of somebody who's thriving in the e-commerce experience. I think they're losing out pretty bad to Amazon, but whatever. Meanwhile, Nike's departure could be a blow for Amazon, which has been slammed lately for selling counterfeit and even dangerous goods. It has mostly kept a hands-off approach and let brands police the problem, but recently it vowed to spend billions of dollars to keep vendors from selling such illegal products. And you guys may remember the video I made recently. I forget if there was a stat like how many it was, but like a lot of the groceries and things like that being sold on Amazon are expired, rotten, etc. And Amazon seemingly isn't doing enough or very much to stop it. Let's see. I was just curious if there's any comments here. Okay, so I guess we're not going to be able to read comments. Anyhow, that's the story. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If so, give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down there or down there, whether you're on mobile or PC. And would love to hear you guys' comments on this as well. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one.